Well, hello folks, and welcome to another episode of the Holdfast Garage. My name is Aaron, and I am an amateur. Can you tell? Despite being an amateur, I, along with a great deal of help, have managed to get this car roadworthy again. But there's more work to be done. Okay. So if you watched the last episode, you know that just as we were pulling the car from its road test back into the garage, the heater hose on the firewall side, the one, I believe it's the supply heater hose, started spraying boiled coolant all over the place, which was fun. I got to inhale some of it. It's probably good for you, right? I don't know. Anyway, I tightened it down, made sure it wasn't leaking anymore while it was still hot. I'm going to throw a ratchet on, give a couple more cranks on both just to make double sure. And then what we're going to do is take the car out for another little cruise, get some heat into the engine, pull it back in, and instead of backing into the garage, I'm going to drive it in nose first. That way I can do the work that I need to do and not get smoked out. The plan is to adjust the timing first, then I'm going to shut her down. Once we got the timing dialed in, shut her down, pull the air cleaner off, and pull one of the valve covers off, start the engine again. This way she'll be dumping the exhaust outside instead of into the garage. And being as she doesn't have catalytic converters, it stings the eyeballs. So we'll have shade to work in. We'll be exhausting exhaust into outside. And when I'm going to pull the valve cover off, adjust the valve train, make sure everybody's dialed in right where they need to be. Put that one back on, pull the other one off, do the same thing. And that should be all we do for today. But that'll be crossing two big things off our list on the windshield there. So let's fire it up and take her for a little drive. What do you say? Okay. Begin the day with a cold start. Boy, I sure hope this works. Ooh. Come on now. Successful. Now, let's check some fluids. All right, to start off with, power steering. Oh my. The power steering reservoir is nearly empty. So am I leaking? Or did it just pump all through the... I don't know much about a power steering system. How much fluid does it actually take? Well, we'll come back to that. In the meantime, let's go ahead and check the oil. Oil's full. That's good. Let's see about transmission. Transmission's full. Okay, so these are good things. Now, I don't know if you can see me. Let me get back here in the shot. Now, one thing I really should have done before I went for that little drive is I should have gone to the store and gotten some more coolant to refill the radiator, because we've lost some with the hose debacle yesterday. So before we do anything else, I'm going to run to the store, get some coolant. We're going to have to wait for that to cool down at least enough that I can open the cap there and refill, but then I can take the air box, I can take the air cleaner off. I can do some stuff while I'm waiting for that. Something else interesting that happened here. I don't know how or when or why, but the number 3 spark plug wire came off. I don't know when or how. It is hotter than blazes because it was resting right on the manifold, so I can't plug it back in right at the moment, but kind of curious. Anyway, take a brief break, get some coolant, maybe pick up a couple of other things, we'll see, and we'll be right back. Don't go anywhere. Well, we went ahead and topped off the radiator and the reservoir. I think I'll probably still need to put more in, and as we turn the engine on again and it goes through another heat cycle, it'll pull out of the reservoir, and that'll show me, in fact, that yes, there's more room in there. So the power steering, bit of a mystery. The one hose was damp, looked like it may have some leakage, but it doesn't seem like enough that it is actively leaking enough that the whole reservoir would just empty like that, because it's empty. And again, I don't know how much, as it's pumping, how much of the fluid is actually in the rest of the system vice being in the reservoir anyway. And I probably didn't make more than 25 miles an hour during that little cruise, but there was no evidence of any drips being flung back at anything behind. I didn't see any oil, any fluid on the frame or on any of the engine parts or anything behind the power steering system to indicate that as it's dripping, it's, you know, being flung. So, I don't know. I talked to Dad to get a second opinion on it, and what we're gonna do, what we're gonna end up doing is wait until he comes out here. So I have a second set of eyes. But we are gonna continue with timing the engine, because that's something I want to get done. I want to be able to check that off the list. I will go ahead and add power steering pump troubleshooting to the list on the windshield, because it's something needs addressed. But anyway, I put the number 3 spark plug wire back on. I didn't see any reason why it would have come off. I don't know what happened there. I don't know. Maybe it just wasn't attached very well. Anyway, enough preamble. Let's time this engine. What do you say? So we're going to bring back hat cam so that hopefully when I'm using the timing light, you all can see what it is I'm looking at. All right, let's get it fired up. Okay, I didn't have to do anything. As you hopefully saw with the hat cam there, the timing light showed we are right at 16 ahead of top dead center, which is what we want. So timing is not necessary. Now I'm going to let the engine cool a little more. Perhaps. Well, no, we'll go ahead and hop in there, and we'll start taking off the driver's side valve cover to adjust the lash on the valves. I'll go ahead and skip that, and we'll just jump you right to starting it and adjusting the lash. How about that? Ready? Okay, go. All right, well, it is Sunday, and we're going to get right back into it. But first, we're going to get in the way back machine. We're not going to go very far. We're just going to go back to yesterday when I said... And then what we're going to do is take the car out for another little cruise, get some heat into the engine. And then I said, we'll go ahead and hop in there, and we'll start taking off the driver's side valve cover. What I failed to take into account, is that metal conducts heat really well. And the bolts, the fasteners for the driver's side, the port side, if you will, valve cover, were toasty hot. I got 4 of them off, and the 3 that remain are deeper in there. They were going to take a little more contact, and then I was going to have to pull the cover itself off with, you know, with my hands, which also conduct heat really well, right to my nerves. So we put things on pause, but we're back. The engine's nice and cool now. It's been, 24 hours. So we're going to go ahead and pull this cover off, start the engine, and lash the valve, or the rocker arms, I should say, on this side. Shut the engine down, and then maybe this evening, after it's cooled off, we'll switch to the driver's side. I'll go ahead or the passenger side rather, the starboard side. I'll put the cover back on once we're done. But yeah, we're gonna do that. That's the plan. Ready, go. Man, much easier when they're not a billion degrees. There we go. Oh yeah, that would have been real fun trying to get that out when it's engine temperature. Okay. Here we go. That's all of those. Pull this guy out. Okay. And we'll just set that right there. Now, okay, I'm going to hop out and get my tools. Get her started up. What I'm hoping is that oil doesn't come flying out of the push rods, that it seeps. We'll see. I will lay down some pig mat in here just in case, to try and not make a giant mess. We'll see. TBD. So this is pig mat, by the way. It's very thin but very absorbent. Good for oils and such. So, as I said, I'll go ahead and got some down here, got some up here. So hopefully that, you know, any stray spray doesn't make a giant mess. Anyway, that's that. All right, so I should explain before it gets super noisy. I should explain what it is that I'm going to do. Because I don't know how well you're going to be able to hear me once the engine is running. So what I'm going to do is, as the engine is running, I'm going to back off each one of these individually, back them off until they start to chatter, if they're not already chattering, then tighten them until they just stop making noise. And that should more or less do it. And hopefully I can do that relatively quickly before I got the garage door open, so the exhaust should be going outside. I should open the people door over there, get a nice cross breeze if I can. But yeah, hopefully it's not super noisy and doesn't take me too long to do. Anyway, let's get after it, yeah? Go ahead and start her up. As always, I sure hope this works. Give her a little gas. Those belts need to be tightened a little bit. There we go. I have no idea if you can hear me or not. We'll see. Okay. Oh my. Okay, that one's chattering. All right, we definitely need more coolant in the reservoir. That's for sure. And we sprayed a bunch of oil on the manifold. I could see she was building oil pressure. So that's, that's good. But I underestimated how noisy this engine is, and it's harder than I thought it was going to be to observe. So what to do? I melted my pig mat trying to wipe the oil off the manifold. That was a dumb idea. Don't do that. Don't do that. So we're going to have to take a different tactic. We definitely need to add coolant. That's for sure. Well, yeah, I don't know. I guess we'll pause here and I will ponder and regroup. All right, so I took a quick break to call Dad just to get a warm fuzzy. Because I have no idea if you could hear me or not. The lapel mic maybe can pick up my voice over the sound of the engine. I have no idea. But it sounded like there was definitely some valve noise, but I don't know. It's awful noisy. It's good noise. I like it. But, so what he advised is, yes, run it again, and go just like I was saying I was going to do. Back each one off one at a time until it starts to audibly make noise, and then tighten it down just to it so it stops. So we're gonna bite the bullet, light off the engine, climb back in there, and I think I'll start at the back and work my way forward. I got to figure out some way. So what was it, number 3, I think? Once it built enough oil pressure, it was, I don't know, it was 3 or 5, but the push rod was actually spitting oil like I was kind of afraid of, and it was getting on the manifold and smoking, which not a huge problem, but like to avoid it if I can. We will, by the way, I forgot to do this yesterday. We can cross timing off the list. We did do that. So that's that. All right. As I said, start up the engine, climb back in there, and just get after it. All right. So Dad did say that you can't hurt anything by backing it off, but you can by over tightening. And if I can find it, I'll maybe try and share it or link it. Dad did send me a really cool video that explains actually how modern hydraulic roller lifters compensate for a little bit of error in the lash anyway. That's, again, well, I'll see if I can find it and share it with you. No promises, though. All right, let's light this candle. Sure hope this works. Come on now. You got it. Okay, I can hear it now. Oh, yep, there's that one. Oh, that oil is hot. Yep. Whew. Okay. Um, uh, Yay. So that oil does get hot, and it's, you know, the first couple of times it sprays you, you notice it, and then the more it, more it keeps spraying you, you're like, well, this is uncomfortable. And it gets uncomfortable real fast because as it starts, and I should, you know, I should have done what I said I was going to do. I should have started on number 7 and worked my way forward, because as oil pressure builds, it gets more uncomfortable. And it builds from the back of the engine to the front. So there's a lesson learned for you. Do actually, if you're going to do this, if you're going to check Lash this way, start at number 7 or number 8 and work your way forward. All right, we'll let that cool down for a bit. And maybe we'll come back at it. So I don't know if you could see or how well you can see now, but there's a fair amount of oil spray on my ratchet here, and that was also getting on my arms. Just a wee bit uncomfortable. So we'll give it a minute. We'll think about it. Oh, that is warm. Anyway, that's yeah. We'll pause and regroup. All right, so at this point, everything's got oil on it, and I'm procrastinating. And the way you know I'm procrastinating is I just took a break and did some yard work, which that's a telltale sign. When I stop working on the car and I start doing random yard work, that's how you know. So I don't know where I'm going to go from here. I mean, she runs relatively smooth. There is some valve train noise. That's for sure. I plan to drive it a couple of times between now and when Dad gets here, which is just 5 days away. He gets here on Thursday. This is Sunday. He gets here on Thursday, Friday. Anyway, he'll be here soon. That's the point. So I think what I'll do is put the valve cover back on once everything's cooled down, and I'll leave it as is. I plan to drive it 1 or 2 times. Once probably just around the yard, and then once to go show it off to a friend. I'm not going to have it above 25, maybe 30 miles an hour. So we'll just leave it as it is for now. I'll wait until Dad gets here, so I've got a second set of eyes and ears. Maybe when he gets here, we'll push it out onto the driveway, so it's not... Because here in the garage, it's trapping all of the sound. And I don't know if maybe out on the driveway, it'll be a little easier to hear when they're chattering. I did hear, what was it? I think one of the valves on number 3 definitely was cack, 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 cack. I heard that. But also it's spitting oil all over the place, so I got to figure something else out for, you know, keeping oil off of the manifold and off of me, because that was getting really uncomfortable really quick. And pig mat's just not doing the job. Maybe I just gotta man up and deal with it. Anyway, that's where we're gonna leave it for now. Probably the next time you see the next episode will be when Dad is here and we're working on it. Maybe I'll do a couple of things here and there. I could try and put the inner fender in by myself, but it's nice to be able to get in, I mean, as you can see, get into the engine compartment and stand there. And it's kind of awkward getting it in and holding it in place while we get the fasteners put in. So, you know, I don't know. We'll see. More to follow. But this is so much fun. It's stressful. I have actually lost sleep. Not lately, not since we got the engine going, but prior to starting the engine, or trying to start the engine for the first time, and then in the journey to actually getting it to run for the first time, I was losing sleep. Not anymore though. This is fun again. 100% fun again. So, if you're having fun, if you enjoy watching me struggle and make obvious mistakes, then please like and subscribe and hit the notification bell so when a new episode comes out, you know about it right away. Share your favorite episode with your friends or your family, people that like cars, and you know, tell your friends, tell your enemies, and we will see you in another episode. I'm going to go take a shower and sit down for a while. Cheers. So if you watched the try again.